Throughout the course of this year, in numerous videos, I have made it a point to extensively document all of the executive orders and bills and laws and legislations that have been passed for every other group to deal with their very specific needs. And these bills and legislations and laws have been passed over and over and over again. Meanwhile, no one can show me not one bill or legislation that has been passed to deal with any of the specific needs that directly affect Black Americans exclusively. And because of this, the Biden administration, as well as the Democratic Party, now appear to be in a little bit of trouble because the approval rating of the Biden administration amongst the Black community has been dropping rather drastically. It appears that Black Americans are slowly but surely finally starting to realize that the Biden administration is not doing anything for them and has no desire to do anything for them, despite the fact that we are the ones that got him into office. And because of this, Biden's approval rating within the Black community is dropping drastically. Now, what I want to do right now is read this article to you titled, "Biden is Less Popular with Black Voters After You-Know-What Mandate Rollout." President Joe Biden's sweeping federal rules to mandate you-know-what hasn't hurt him with the overall electorate, but it appears to have spurred a weakening of his standing with one of the most reliable pieces of the Democratic Party's coalition, Black voters. Since Morning Consult political intelligence surveys conducted immediately before Biden's September 9th mandate announcement, the president's net approval rating, the share who approve of his job performance minus the share who disapprove, has fallen 12 percentage points among Black voters, driven by a 17-point drop among un-you-know-what Black voters. The September erosion accounted for more than 2/5 in a decline in perceptions of Biden's job performance to date among Black voters, providing a stark warning sign for Democrats ahead of next year's midterms. While Black voters who helped push Biden over the top against President Donald Trump in key states last year are unlikely to abandon the Democratic Party en masse to back Republicans on the ballot next year, low turnout from the group could have dire consequences for Democrats in Congress who already face an early enthusiasm gap. Now, the stat that you're looking at right now is Biden's approval rating with Black America versus Biden's approval rating with America as a whole. And on the right side, when it comes to America as a whole, his approval rating on multiple issues ranging from national security, jobs, foreign policy, immigration, the economy, and healthcare hasn't really dropped too much. But when you look at the approval rating for Biden among Black voters, whether we're talking about the quote sickness and or anything else concerning Joe Biden's presidency, his approval rating amongst the Black community is plummeting in every sector. Now, things are getting so dire for the Democratic Party that Cory Booker has now stepped out in defense of Joe Biden, swearing up and down that he's doing a great job with his Black agenda and that we must keep supporting him and the Democratic Party in the 2020 midterms. Now, what I want to do is read from this article here titled, "Booker Defends Biden's Black Agenda, Urges Black Voters to Show Up in 2022 Midterms." U.S. Senator Cory Booker acknowledged that without Black voters, Democrats will get decimated in upcoming re-election, adding, "We can't let people get discouraged." U.S. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey assured members of the NAACP on Saturday that all hope isn't lost on the Black agenda in Washington, and made the case as to why Black voters should not sit out of next year's midterm elections, despite some growing weary of President Joe Biden and Democrats at large amid stalled bills critical for Black America. Now, before I carry on, I just want to say this. This speaks volumes to Cory Booker's character. He knows good and well that the Biden administration has done absolutely nothing for the Black community in the almost 1 year that he's been in office. Yet he is still going to sit up here and cape for the Biden administration as well as the Democratic Party at large to tell you to go out and vote for them in the midterms, regardless of the fact that they have done nothing for you thus far. That speaks volumes about Cory Booker concerning where his loyalty truly lies, and it is clearly not with the Black community. Now let's carry on as we witness Cory Booker put on the cape for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. Booker defended President Biden against criticisms that he hasn't yet done enough for Black Americans. The four-term senator said that while he believes progress can still be made on the Hill as it relates to policing and voting rights, Black Americans can't allow the focus on those two policy issues distract them from the gains for the community that have been achieved so far, including child tax credits that Biden signed into law with the American Rescue Plan and an executive order on environmental justice, equity, and climate, energy, and infrastructure that would ensure 40% of its spending goes to communities of color. This president has done more on environmental justice than any president in my lifetime, said Booker, who also touted Biden for cutting the nation's child poverty in half. Without Black voters, Booker acknowledged, we will get decimated in the upcoming re-elections. We worked so hard in last year's election, we can't let people get discouraged. Ladies and gentlemen, Cory Booker is full of it, and he knows that he is. Nobody in the Black community was asking for environmental justice. So to even bring that up as if it's some sort of victory for Black America is simply an insult to our intelligence. But what's even more insulting to our intelligence is this nothing burger of an executive order that Joe Biden signed for Black America. You see, now this is a desperation executive order that was signed just for the sole purposes of the Biden administration and Democrats as a whole to be able to say, you can't say Biden didn't do anything for Black people because look at this executive order on White House initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity for Black Americans. Now, I'll leave the link to this executive order in the description below, but I will save you the hassle of actually reading it by just summarizing it for you. In essence, Joe Biden created a to-do list for Black America and made that into an executive order. That's literally what this is. It's nothing more than a giant to-do list. It is listing out 1,000,001 things of what the Biden administration claims that they are going to do, but at no point in this executive order do they ever tell you how they're going to accomplish and execute all of the things that are in this executive order. They never tell you what tangibles will actually be distributed to the Black community to ensure that all these initiatives come to fruition. And they for sure don't give you a time frame in which this executive order should be realized in its totality. Instead, like I stated earlier, it's merely a to-do list of what the Biden administration would like to do. Now, here's a couple of examples. Addressing the inequitable treatment of Black children, such as eradicating discriminatory referrals to special education and excessive disciplinary actions. Here's another one. Enhancing student support services and fostering positive engagement among schools, families, community leaders, and community-based organizations to increase high school graduation and post-secondary attendance rates and decrease the high school dropout rate for Black students. This executive order is jam-packed with a bunch of initiatives like what I just read off to you. But if you're not telling me how this is actually going to be executed, then it doesn't mean anything. Now, how can I say that so confidently to you? Well, the reason that I can say that so confidently to you is because back in July 26th of 2012, Barack Obama literally signed the same exact executive order into law, titled Executive Order White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans. Now, somebody please answer this question. If this executive order didn't work almost 10 years ago in 2012, when Barack Obama signed it into law, then what would make you think it is going to work now, almost a decade later? If Barack Obama's executive order / to-do list was effective and did what it was supposed to do, then there would be no need for Joe Biden to sign this sorry excuse of an executive order, which is nothing more than a to-do list into law. You see, this is how lowly the Democratic Party thinks of us. They're not even coming up with new plays to trick you. They're running back old ones from a decade ago. And they're banking on your ignorance to not see that you're getting played. Now, let me read off another one of these initiatives for you off of Biden's to-do list / executive order. monitor and support the development, implementation, and coordination of federal government educational workforce research and business development policies, programs, and technical assistance designed to improve outcomes for historically underserved communities, including Black Americans. Who and or what is underserved communities? I could have swore that this to-do list was supposed to be for Black Americans. Do you see how the Democratic Party always finds some way to not make it 100% about you? Even in a nonsensical to-do list, they make sure to include underserved communities, people of color, minorities, and marginalized groups. Here goes another one. To advance shared priorities and policies that advance equity and economic opportunity for underserved communities. The initiative shall collaborate and coordinate with other White House initiatives related to equity and opportunity. My God, when are we going to
wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep.
When Cory Booker said, without Black voters, we will get decimated in the upcoming re-elections, that is exactly what should happen. There is absolutely no reason for Black Americans to turn out in the 2022 midterms. The Democrats have every excuse in the book for why they can't do anything for you. Meanwhile, we have watched over and over and over again Joe Biden sign executive order after executive order for other groups dealing with their very specific needs. And even outside of executive orders, we watched the Democrats be able to get bills passed unanimously through the House and the Senate to meet the very specific needs of other groups. But when it comes to us, all of a sudden, their hands are tied. Yet they still want you to do them a solid and vote them into office. No, the Democrats should be decimated in the 2022 midterms. It makes no logical sense for you to continue to bail out the Democratic Party only for them to consistently give you their behind a kiss. And with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. Also make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That's tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a direct text notification whenever I release a new video. But it also serves as a protection plan for myself in case YouTube ever gives this channel the axe. I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. And last but certainly not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the number one way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that helps put me in position to be able to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. You can also support through CashApp as well. That is $TD Hip Hop. And also, as some of you may have seen already, the join button is unlocked next to the subscribe button. So for those of you who have been having a little trouble with joining Patreon, you can do so through the join button that is next to the subscribe button. And you could purchase a membership to this channel for as little as $3 a month, the same way you would do on Patreon. And finally, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the emailing list. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me, and the link to join the emailing list will be pinned in the comment section below as well. Thank you for your time, and until the next video, peace.